A very good morning to everyone present here. I, Missy James, a student of 4th year BA LLB, and I, Adra Arun Manath, a student of 3rd year BBA LLB, on CMR University School of Legal Studies, would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to our respected dignitaries of the for the National Seminar on Human Rights. The seminar is conducted with the aim to focus on various global issues and challenges faced in today's time pertaining to human rights. I would now like to welcome Ghana, a second-year student of CMR University, to the stage to sing the invocation song.
ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಭಯವು ಇನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಸಂಜೀವರಾಯರ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಂಜೀವರಾಯರ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಂಜೀವರಾಯರ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಭಯವು ಇನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಕನಸಲಿ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳವಳವಾದರೆ ಕನಸಲಿ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳವಳವಾದರೆ ಹನುಮನ ನೆನೆದರೆ ಹಾರಿ ಹೋಗದೆ ಪಾಪ ಹನುಮನ ನೆನೆದರೆ ಹಾರಿ ಹೋಗದೆ ಪಾಪ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಭಯವು ಇನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ಪೂಜೆಯ ಮಾಡುವ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ಪೂಜೆಯ ಮಾಡುವ ಗುರುಮತ್ಮರಾಯರ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ರಿ ಮರಿ ಮದ ಪಮ ಪದ ಪಮ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ದಪಮ ಪರಿಮ ಪದ ಪಮ ಪರಿಮ ಪ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ರಿ ಮರಿ ಮದ ಪಮ ಪದ ಪಮ ಪರಿಮ ಪದ ಪಮ ಪರಿಮ ಪ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ ಸಜನರಿಗೆ ಅಂಜಿಕಿನ್ಯಾತಕಯ್ಯ 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 ಸಜನರಿಗೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you, Ghana, for your soulful rendition. It was truly mesmerizing. I would now like to welcome our respected Dean, Professor Dr. T.R. Subramanya, to present the welcome address.
A very good morning to all of you present here.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Like the idea of parliamentary democracy, or of racial equality, or the idea of science and technology, or the idea of Marxian political theory, the very concept of human rights is a growing concept. And it has become the master of political priorities throughout the world as on today. Most of the people from the developing countries, or the institutions that are set up in the developing countries, were made to champion the cause of human rights the way it was practiced in the state of United States or in the Council of Europe. But then things have changed. Institutions are set up, organizations are built, eminent people are being put in to look into for the enforcement of these rights today. Now, with this in view, we have decided to organize a one-day conference on the status and protection of human rights in this country. And the speakers are the most learned, the most eminent, and have worked for years in the area of protection and promotion of human rights. And today we have with us Honorable Justice, former S.R. Bannurmat, former Chief Justice of the State of Kerala, High Court of Kerala. He has served as a judge in Karnataka. From there, he was elevated as the Chief Justice of the High Court of Kerala and served in a distinguished position there. From there, on his completion of tenure and retirement, he was appointed as the chairman of the Maharashtra Human Rights Commission, and successfully, and he was just mentioning to us the nature of work which he was doing as the chairman of the Human Rights Commission in the state of Maharashtra. And on completion, he was appointed as the chairman of the Law Commission in the state of Karnataka, and is serving chairman. And his contribution to the field of law, the development of law, the growth of law is immense. We remember as students of law and teachers of law, earlier, Honorable Justice Bannurmat was part of a committee, and this committee was constituted by the government on the criminal reforms. And Justice Malimat was heading the committee. And when Justice Malimat was heading the committee, he was actually part of it, and he has assisted. And when I was serving as the Vice Chancellor of the Karnataka State Law University, he had come to the Karnataka State Law University as a guest. And at that time, he just spoke on this. What exactly are the measures which are being taken, how these measures are being used, and how it is being implemented, what exactly are the flaws in this the report. Sir, we are really honored to have you. On behalf of the Board of Management, on behalf of the Chairman, on behalf of the Chancellor, and on behalf of the School of Legal Studies, I deem it a great privilege to welcome you. We have Anil Warrior. He is a professor of law, and he is a professor of law under a chair constituted by the Maharashtra National University. And for teachers, whatever designation he holds, ultimately he is a teacher. But then he is simultaneously the registrar of the National Law School, Maharashtra, Mumbai. So when we requested him, he was more than willing, and he just said he will be addressing the learned participants on this day. A clear vision of his career will be spoken by the person while introducing the Anil Warrior. We have our respected Pro-Chancellor, N.V. Subbareddy, and he has been with us in the last 4 or 5 months and making a wonderful contribution for the growth and development of this university. And he is the presiding officer for this function. And on behalf of the university, once again, I welcome you, sir. It is my sincere duty to welcome all the students as well as outsiders who have registered for the conference. Simultaneously, I also welcome all the distinguished teachers of CMR Law School who are here, and all the members of the CMR family. Once again, with best wishes to all of you for all the day. Thank you.
Of Kerala High Court and former chairperson of the Maharashtra State Human Rights Commission. Sir has completed his LLB from RL Law College, Belagavi, and enrolled as an advocate on the roll of the Karnataka State Bar Council on 28th March 1973. He started practice at the Belagavi District Court. In 1974, he shifted practice to the High Court of Karnataka at Bengaluru by joining the office of Sri K.A. Swami. In 1979, Sir started his independent practice dealing in all branches of law. Specializing in criminal and constitutional cases in the Karnataka High Court, he also appeared regularly in the Supreme Court of India. Considering his early achievements and outstanding merit, especially in criminal law, in 1990, he was the youngest advocate to be appointed as a state public prosecutor and a government advocate and continued till June 1997. He was elevated to the bench of the Karnataka High Court as a judge and he assumed the office on 11th June 1997. He assisted Justice V.S. Mallimath's commission on reforms on criminal justice system, especially on victimology. He has delivered numerous landmark judgments, including 5 death penalty judgments. Noted amongst them are the Swami Shraddhananda case and the psychopath killer Umesh Reddy case. As per the direction of the Supreme Court, he was the designated judge to monitor the mental health of citizens in Karnataka and issued numerous directions in bringing awareness and importance of mental health in the society. Justice Banurmath was elevated as the Chief Justice of Kerala High Court in 2009. After his retirement as the Chief Justice of Kerala, he was the chairman of the Expert Committee on Advanced Center for Cyber Law and Forensics, established at NLSIU under the direction of the Department of Information Technology, Government of India, New Delhi. Justice Banurmath served as the chairperson of the Maharashtra State Human Rights Commission from 2013 to 2018. Presently, Sir is serving as the chairman of the Law Commission of Karnataka and he assumed the office in 2019. It is my most humble privilege to invite you to the podium to present the inaugural address.
Dr. N.V. Subbareddy, Pro-Vice Chancellor of CMR University, Professor Subramaniam, Dean, Professor Praneshwaran, the Director, my good friend Dr. Anil, all the resource persons and faculty members, and most importantly, the future of this great nation who are aspiring to be lawyers, both corporate or litigating, aspiring to be judges, maybe aspiring to be politicians or administrative officers, or maybe simply have a law degree and proceed with your normal life. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, sir.
At the outset, let me congratulate Dr. Subramaniam and his team and the CMR University management for this thought-provoking seminar on human rights in different prospects. My thanks for inviting me here today for this inaugural address. Excellent topics have been chosen to highlight the importance of human rights, like human rights and good governance, human rights and technology, gender justice, global issues, and digital technology, etc. Today, as inaugural speaker, let me address you all briefly on origin of human rights movement globally and the institutes on protection of human rights, especially in India. Ladies and gentlemen, we the Homo sapiens, that's the scientific name for the human beings, are immensely always proud to say that we are the most intelligent, strongest, powerful, and rationally thinking animal in the whole world. However, think for a moment. Few centuries back, we were not able to fly like birds. We could not swim like fish, or we could not do anything like running fast like cheetahs or tigers or deers. But in this world, animal world, every other animal cub or newborn animal is capable of getting up and starting its new life independently within few hours or within few days of its birth. Many times it is few hours because it has to protect itself, learn how to eat and protect itself. But it is only human child which is very, very helpless and dependent on their parents or adults for many, many years. This helplessness of the newborn child continues even today. But with evolution and growth of intellect, the humankind has achieved greater heights, like literally flying, go to the bottom of the deepest sea, climb highest mountains, and do wonders. Now we are going to the moon and other planets also. Unfortunately, this so-called growth of civilization, the change in the human behavior is not there. Unlike other animals which fight, kill, or injure their own species only to protect themselves or to get food or to have dominance, it is only the human being who is irrational, who kills or injures or hurts fellow human beings for any flimsy reasons. Few years back, when I was in United States, being a zoology graduate interested in animal world, and I was told at San Diego, this is one of the beautiful zoo where all animals and birds, etc., in the world are collected and are living there. So I went to the zoo. It takes about 2 days to go around, and you have to travel in a buggy. At the end of travel, there was one special arch, and on it was written, "Enter at your risk." So I was surprised, what is this? Enter at your risk. So I just asked my guide, what is this? No sir, we are having most deadly animal here, cruelest animal, so you can watch it, but you have to be careful. I said, fine, let me go. I know some of it, as a zoology student, what are the cruelest animals, and most of them are extinct. So I just went inside. There was one door again inside. Crossed it. There is a curtain. They said again there was a written, look into, be careful, at your risk. So the guide opened the curtain, and inside I saw myself in a mirror. This is to depict the most cruelest animal in the world is human being. And this is why Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, philosopher and second President of India has said once, no wild beast is more destructive and crueler to a man than his own fellow human beings. How true it is. Right from the ancient times, these oppressions, cruelties, harassment of the human beings by their own fellow human beings is going on. And there is struggle for this protection. As such, the human right is an area that needs greater attention in the contemporary time also due to the gross violation of these basic rights which the life of human being is becoming miserable. Now I'll tell you briefly the history of global movement for human rights protection. Though for the global movement of human rights protection, modern historians give credit to Magna Carta, which is 1215 AD, or to American Declaration of Independence in 1776, or French Revolution, followed by many Western concepts. We the Indians must be proud to say that the concept of human rights protection is there right from ancient times. Thousands of years back, our ancient manuscript, Rigveda, has declared all human beings are equal, all are brothers and sisters. From this, the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, entire world is my family, has arisen, which is now in modern terms called as global village. Similarly, the concept of Vishwa Bandhutva, everybody is my brother and sister. Now that is, modern say that universal brotherhood. This is all in existence in our earlier scriptures. In Atharva Veda, we find proclamation that all human beings are equal and have equal right over food and shelter. You must remember the ethos of this great nation. You must have heard at least Om Sarve Bhavatu Sukhina, Om Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Bhag Bhavai. What does it mean? May all be happy, all be free of illness, all see what is auspicious, and may no one suffer. And this is the base of human rights movement. Even as long back as in 1829, Raja Ram Mohan Rai was the founder of Brahmo Samaj, started thinking about human rights protection and especially of women by revolutionizing the stoppage of sati concept, which was when a husband dies, the woman was livingly put on the fire also. Now you get great revolting concept is started and ultimately ended with banning of this sati concept. Though this movement, whether in India, ancient times, or in modern Western worlds, was there was no codified law or movement on these aspects. And the exact codification process started after World War I in 1914 to 1918, and especially after the World War II, 1939 to 1945. During these world wars, there was destruction of human lives, tortures of prisoners, destruction of properties, etc. And as such, the thinking world at that time, many leaders came together and they formed what is known as United Nations Organization, or UNO for short. And this was the foundation for this human right movement codification. It is ironic that the great monster Hitler, who was responsible for this destruction of humans and greatest violations of human rights and barbaric attitude he had, we must thank him at least for awakening in the world this concept or global human right movement. Now, in the United Nations on 25th June 1945, initially 50 nations came together to establish United Nations Organization, and the objective of this United Nations Organization was to maintain international peace, protecting human rights, delivering humanitarian aids to the countries necessary. And presently, there are nearly 193 members, including the India. Now, after the World War II, on 10th December 1948, a historic document was born and adopted by United Nations in its 183rd session at Paris, which is known as Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or UDHR for short. Now, the preamble of this UDHR says, whereas recognition of inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, peace in the world. Now, under this UDHR, it was promised and proclaimed that all human beings have economic, social, political, cultural, and civil rights, which are inalienable without discrimination to gender, caste, nation, etc. However, unfortunately, human rights abuses have not stopped, even though UDHR was adopted more than 100 nations. But since then, countless people all over the world have gained greater freedoms, like Nigeria. Violations have been prevented by the intervention of United Nations. Apartheid especially has been lessened, and independence and autonomy has been achieved. And the power of the Universal Declaration is the idea of change in the world culture. Though many nations do not treat this Universal Declaration as legally binding, the preamble itself of the UDHR says, whereas it is essential if man is not compelled to have a recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and oppression, that human right should be protected by rule of law. Now, the original declaration in those circumstances immediately after the World War II had hardly 30 articles, especially protection against torture of the prisoners of war or occupied nations, etc. Now, during this changed course and long period of time. The international treaties have come, then national and international movements to further these human rights declared under the UDHR have been expanded, and especially there is a great contribution from the judiciary in defining and protecting the human rights concepts. In 1946, the United Nations itself started the first organization for protection of human rights in the name of United Nations Commission on Human Rights, or UNCHR, and in 2006 the name was changed as United Human Rights Council, which is still working. Unfortunately, there is a criticism against this United Human Rights Council that it did not engage in constructive discussion on the protection of human rights, and much less take serious actions internationally, though every member are violating it, and especially the great nations or member countries like China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Algeria, and to some extent in India also are the biggest violators of these human rights. Now, parallelly, when this United Nations movement was going on and UN declaration was being given, the Constituent Assembly constituted for independent construction of or a writing of Constitution of India came together, which had stalwarts like Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Alladi Krishnaswamy, K.M. Munshi, and Mr. Rao. Many and other members discussed at length, and while drafting the Constitution, they wanted to give more importance to the human rights protection. Our efforts towards protecting the rights have been depicted in the preamble of our Constitution itself. The preamble reads, "We the people give to ourselves justice, that is social, economic, political, liberty of thoughts, expression, belief, faith, and worship, and equality of status and opportunity." These are nothing but the measures to protect the human rights. No doubt, in part 3 of the Constitution, you will find a chapter specifically on fundamental rights. Fundamental rights with little difference, marginal difference, are nothing but the human rights. The only difference in some of the articles of fundamental rights, they can be curtailed. They are available only to the citizens of India. Unlike human rights are universal, they are not given by anybody, they come by birth and go by death. Nobody can challenge, nobody can stop these human rights to the human beings. This is the only marginal difference, or otherwise the human rights and fundamental rights are equal. The most important fundamental right or human right, according to me, is Article 21, which is called as soul or mother of human rights or fundamental rights, right to live. Originally, it was very much limited in its meaning, that no person can be arrested or put into jail without proper due process of law, or his life cannot be taken away. Now, this was confined earlier, but now the scope has increased to such an extent that whatever rights a human being requires, like right to education, right for protection, right of women and children, all are brought thanks to the various pronouncements of the Supreme Court in this regard. Now, coming back, in the United Nations, when they saw that there is no much movement on protection of human rights globally, in a Geneva and Paris conference, they decided that all member countries should have their own law to legally binding the human beings or the citizens of that country for protection of human rights. And accordingly, the Government of India has passed the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. Now, under this act, two institutions have been created, and I will be speaking in detail about this as the topic of my topic. Many people don't know these institutions or how they can be used by common persons, and even much less, because this is my experience after going around hundreds of colleges in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and everywhere, that though human right is one of the subject, the knowledge of these institutions, which can help not only the person but people surrounding him to protect the human rights, there is unawareness. And so I thought that today let me start with these institutions and introductions to these institutions. Now, under this act, there are two institutions created. One is at national level, called as National Human Rights Protection Act, and another at state levels, wherever the states are there, like Karnataka State Human Rights Commission or Maharashtra Human Rights Commission, etc. As per the protection of the human rights, now first question is, what is the human right? Again, we come back. Basically, we don't know. The act defines human rights mean the right relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of individuals guaranteed by Constitution or embodied in international covenants and enforceable by Court of India. Again, fundamental rights concept is carried out. Now, another definition given is the minimum rights that are necessary for human being to live in civil and political society as a free individual with dignity and respect. My simplest definition of human right is a right of human being to live like normal human being with dignity and liberty. That's all. It is very simplest. Now, these, as I said, these rights come by birth and go after only the death of that person, and nobody can take them away even by law, unlike some of the provisions of Constitution, fundamental rights. And these are all universal. Anywhere, anybody can exercise these human rights. Now, as I was mentioning, Article 21, which is the mother of this human rights, it has given newer scope, like right to information, right to education, senior citizens' rights, a right to privacy, a right of disabled, a right of pollution-free environment, clean drinking, and palliative care, etc. Now, in 2011, the Supreme Court of India gave new dimension in one of the famous judgments of Aruna Shanbag, which is known as right to die peacefully. It was a concept that many people who are terminally ill cannot be cured. There is no hope for them to be cured. There must be a mercy killing, or what is known as euthanasia, by terminating the life by the doctors. And many nations have this concept still going on under consideration. Now, if you remember, Aruna Shanbag was a nurse in Bombay, and she was throttled by another servant over an attempt for sexual attempt. And unfortunately, the blood flow to her brain stopped and she went in coma. She was in coma for 42 years. She grew on bed with the help of medication. Ultimately, there was nobody to look after her, and the hospital nurses who were with her always, they helped her always in keeping her alive. And ultimately, when it was found that there is no use, they asked for euthanasia to be carried out. The High Court rejected it. Then they went to Supreme Court, and a landmark judgment came out by the Supreme Court that you cannot kill a person by even euthanasia as a mercy killing. But a person has a right to die by himself without taking any help, medical help. So now the concept is, if a terminally ill patient declares that I no more require any treatment because it is useless, I am not going to come back or survive, he can, by a will, declare that stop all medical treatments to me, let me die peacefully. So this is the change in the circumstances. Ultimately, otherwise, this would amount to suicide also. I want to die by myself, that's all. That's which is prohibited under the laws. So this is called as now, instead of mercy killing, it was called as passive euthanasia, which is permitted by the Supreme Court. That is, to die peacefully is a right of a human being. When I was in Maharashtra, I declared another right. Now, human rights are supposed to be for the living human beings. There is a case before me. A young girl of 22 or 23 was missing. Her mother, single mother, had lodged a complaint to the concerned police station that my daughter is missing, gave photograph, description, etc. But there is no response from the police. After about 3 months, the mother came to know that few months back there was a dead body found near another area in Bombay. And when she went there, along with the help of photographs and clothes of the dead person kept there, found that it was her daughter. Though the dead body was found next day itself of the lodging of the complaint, no action was taken by the police. So when the matter came before me, that lady complained, look here, this is what the police inaction is there. Though I gave promptly the complaint, my daughter was missing, I gave every description, everything, The police did not help me, though dead body of my daughter was found very next day of my giving complaint. Then I issued the notice to the concern, and a new right was developed, right of a dead person. The police had deprived the dead person from getting the last rites according to her religion. She was entitled, if she was Hindu, she was entitled for burial or cremation as Hindu rites, or other communities, burial, etc. And the right of the parents or close relatives to see the dead face of their relative, the right of the mother to see for the last time the face of her daughter who is departing from the world, was violation of human rights. This is dead person even can have violations. Now, in my view, when right to vote is a right now, human right and fundamental rights, day is not far off, and discussions are going on when good governance can be considered as human right. And I'm going to one step ahead in this regard, is when I have a right to vote and elect my representative, I must have a right to recall if he does not perform his duties properly. This should be the aim of right to vote also, or right of good governance. Now, coming back to the human rights institutions or commissions. At national level, the commission consists of basically 4 members. Earlier it was Chief Justice, former Chief Justice of India, and presently Chief Justice or any Supreme Court judge who can be chairman. Then at the state level, Chief Justice of the state, former Chief Justice of the state, or presently any judge of the High Court can be a chairman of this commission. There are basically 4 members in the National Human Rights Commission, apart from the, including chairman, apart from the chairman. 1 member is former Chief Justice of a High Court, and 2 members amongst persons having experience or knowledge or working relating to human rights. The NHRC, or National Human Rights Commission, has other ex officio members like chairpersons of different national commissions like Minority Commission, Child and Women Commission, etc., SC/ST Commission, etc. They are the members. But however, at the state level, only there are 3 members, chairman plus 1 member from the judiciary, another member from the social field, who is an expert or worked in the human rights concepts. Now, both institutions have been given provenance, and to protect its independence, unlike other commissions, strict rules have been framed, laws have been framed in this regard. Now, the commission has a secretary of IAS grade, who is a sitting IAS officer, who will be the chief executive officer of the commission. Now, the selection process of this commission is also very strict and the highest level. At the national level, the Prime Minister of India, the speakers of both the houses, deputy chairmen, and the leader of the opposition and Home Minister are the members of the committee who select the chairperson or members of the commission. Similarly, at the state level, Chief Minister, speakers of the both houses, and Home Minister, etc., leader of the opposition, all must come together. And this is not a post for which application has to be filed, that I won't join this. It is the invitation of this committee or the government, concerned central or state government. They invite, after consulting among themselves, to the people to become chairman or a member of the Human Rights Commission. Now the term of the office, initially it was 5 years, now it is presently 3 years or 70 years of his age, whichever is earlier. The salary and perks of this member's chairperson is equivalent to the High Court judge, Chief Justice of the High Court, or at the Supreme Court, Chief Justice of India. And the other members are treated equal to the High Court judges. And their perks and other salary, etc., are protected under this. Now, what is the commission consists of? Commission has following wings. They call it as wings. One is administrative wing, which is headed by the registrar, that is IAS officer. Then there is a legal wing, which is headed by a registrar, who is normally a judicial officer of the district level cadre. And another important wing is investigation wing, headed by DGP or IGP, Director General of Police or IGP of Police, working, not retired. The funds are allocated, of course, by the government, but the relationship between the government and the commission stops there. It is only the government has to provide adequate facilities and salary to the commission, and thereafter it cannot in any way interfere with the working of the commission. Now, what are the duties of this commission? Basic duty of the commission as per the Act is inquiry into the complaints filed by victims or any person of violation of human rights by any public servant. And mark it, this is complaints can be given to the Human Rights Commissions of violation of human rights only against public servants. And public servant word has been defined under section 21 of the IPC, which is universal. It means the central or state government and its employees, officials, and quasi-judicial bodies or local bodies like municipal corporation or institutions which get major grant from the government are all come within the sphere of public servants. So these public servants, if any of them violate the human rights, anybody can file complaint against them to the commission. Added to this, apart from receiving the complaints, the commission has got a power which is called as exercising suo motu jurisdiction. If the commission comes to know of a violation of human rights, by itself, without anybody's complaint, it can take action. And to give an example, on the first day of my taking charge, I was staying at a far off place from my office, and when I was traveling to the office, in the newspaper there was an item that at a apartment in Kandivadi area, 2 apartments, dirty sewage water was being supplied as drinking water. And there was a photograph of a glass of water with worms and dirt floating in it. So I thought, let me start my commission work with taking this action. And I issued a notice to the Corporation Commissioner that why this dirty water is being supplied to this, and report within 48 hours. I was surprised by evening. The people themselves started calling me, saying that, sir, because of your notice went, the corporation immediately came, repaired the water system, for which we were complaining for the last 6 months. This is the power of the commission. By using suo motu power, it can undo the violation of human rights. There are a number of such occasions. What is the advantage of these human rights commissions? The procedure is very, very simple and without hassles like the court proceedings. There is no court fee or any kind of payment has to be made to the commission. There is no form to be written for filing your complaint. Simple on any paper, you can write in your own words the complaint, whatever you are alleging. Many times I used to get papers written from the torn sheet of notebooks of their children. They'll just write simple words, no court fee, nothing to be paid. Simply you post your complaint or come in person and give the complaint to the commission, to the administrative officer. Now, unlike the court proceedings, no affidavit is required, no witnesses list is required. Very, very simple procedure. Now, how this movement starts once the complaint is given. Once the complaint is given, it is registered, case number is generated, and it will be sent to the scrutiny committee, which is headed by a district judge and 2 other law officers. They look into it, and if they verify whether the complaint is maintainable or not. What is meant by maintainable or not? There are hundreds of complaints. Every day I was receiving 150 to 200 complaints. To give example, my husband is beating me. My wife is not giving me good food. My father-in-law is not treating me well. This type of complaints. Or somebody else, my neighbor is encroaching my line. Now these are all presently not maintainable cases, because again, go back to the definition of the human right under the Act. It can be against any public servant. Only against a public servant you can file complaint, not against any individual. So hundreds of complaints, people, because of their ignorance, they file complaints. But then this legal wing takes care of it, look into it. But care is taken that the moment a complaint is found that not maintainable, it is thrown to the dustbin. No. Again, put with a remark, the same is put before the commission, that is chairman or the 2 members. And then it is only the chairman or the members who can decide whether the complaint is maintainable or not. Now, once it is found that the complaint is maintainable, the notice is generated, summons is issued, and for this, the commission has got power of civil court. It can issue summons, it can issue warrant, arrest warrant, including against the public servant who has violated, and call for the report. Now, once the report is received, the same is placed before the commission, and commission look into it whether the allegations are justified or not. Once the commission finds allegations are not justified, again, copy of the report sent by the public servant and the observation of the commission are sent free of cost to the complainant. What do you say? We find because of these remarks or report given by the public servant that your complaint is false or not maintainable. Opportunity is again given to the complainant, and ultimately once the final is there, the matter is heard by the commission with calling for both the sides. Generally, advocates are not permitted unless it is a very complicated legal issue. And after hearing both the sides, the commission gives its recommendation, finding whether the public servant has violated the human rights. If so, what action to be taken? Now, as I said, human rights commissions are not court in the sense they are only recommendatory body. They don't have power of execution of the orders like courts. At the maximum, they have to recommend to the government, look here, this is a violation, you must take action. Added to this, there is one more additional power is given, which is unassailable, is awarding compensation. That is interim compensation if there is a violation of this human right by any public servant. And this normally not challenged, and even if challenged, will not be substantiated before the court. And court does not interfere with order of compensation. Compensation awarding is unlimited. Unlimited like restrictions on other things. One of the case which I awarded compensation of 25 lakhs. A person was shot in spite of by a rival gang. In spite of his lodging complaint repeatedly to give protection to the police, and police failed to give protection to the person, journalist he was, and he was shot at, and the shot went through his neck and he became paraplegic. He was to be on wheelchair, neck down movements were stopped. And the matter came before us, and there was a negligence on the part of the police department in not giving protection or even not looking into the complaint given by him, and we awarded about 25 lakhs compensation. This is not value for his life, but it is a token to show that we care for you. That's all. Then this is called as interim compensation. If the higher compensation is required, the person can move the court, high court for that purpose. But for this only being a recommendatory body and not executable body, many times it is said this commission is a toothless tiger. It can't do anything, just write, recommend and keep quiet. But that's not so. There is a power given under the act itself. If person is aggrieved by not considering the case, or even if the Human Rights Commission itself feels that the government is not taking action in spite of reminders, power is given to the commissions to approach the High Court under Article 226 or to the Supreme Court under Article 32 directly and complain to the government, to the court, that there is a clear violation of human rights and government is not taking, or public servant is not taking care, and action can be taken on this. So it is not that toothless tiger. Now I was mentioning only one thing is the specific wing, that is investigating wing, which is very important, that consists, and it is headed by not less than highest officer of the rank of DGP, Director General of Police, or Inspector General of Police, as the case may be. And he is a working officer. And this investigation wing is under the control of the Human Rights Commission itself. Though he is a serving government servant, government has no control over him. It is the directions of the Human Rights Commissions which he has to comply as long as he is there. So the commission uses this investigation wing when it finds that the complaints given to it are to be looked into, are serious nature, and investigation is required, the Commission sends its investigation team independently. They investigate and submit the report to the Commission, which is a basis or foundation for further action. Now, apart from these, the other functions, if you look into Section 12 of the Human Right Protection of Human Right Act, is it is a watchdog over custodial institutions. What are the custodial institutions? Police stations, prisons, jails, hospitals, government hospitals, wherever a person is under the care or custody of somebody, and it must be a government institution. There, if violation takes place, it is the duty of the Human Rights Commission to go around, check regularly whether there is any violation of law. That's how we give surprise checks to these institutions. The Human Rights Commissions give checks to the surprise visits to these institutions to find out whether there are violations, and if they are there, it will recommend to the government to take action. Now, secondly, whenever custodial death takes place in the custody of the police or even the hospital, unnatural deaths, there is a mandate that within 48 hours the death should be reported to the Commission, either to the state or national. And then the National Commission or State Commission makes inquiry into whether the death is natural or unnatural, and if found unnatural, causes and the responsibility is fixed on the concerned officer. Now, next is, of course, to undertake and promote human rights by bringing awareness to the public and especially the young generation students about human rights and what are the functions, how it should be done through seminars and publications, etc. This is in broad about human rights and the institutions I would like to introduce. Now, only two drawbacks I found from this act. Because of financial restraints, long delays, the people approach the Commission for all the violations. But unfortunately, the Commission's scope is restricted only against public servants. As it is the simplest procedure, it should be expanded to all the violations of human rights by anybody apart from public servants. And second, though under Section 33 of the Act, it was proposed to have district human rights commissions, courts, that has not taken place in spite of the Act is being passed in 1993. There are no district courts for violation. Otherwise, every person has to go to the capital or wherever Human Rights Commission is situated, or of course by post he can send it. But for even given evidence, etc., he has to travel that distance. So it was proposed under Section 33 that there should be. No doubt, there is a notification by every state that particular district judge is designated as human rights court. There is no procedure laid down till today. Of course, now the Law Commission has taken up that issue and we are working on it. So, friends, I am very proud to say that with all these obstacles, the commissions are doing best. It's a very satisfactory job for the persons like me also. In spite of my being in judiciary for 13 years, as a High Court judge or Chief Justice, I found greatest satisfaction in 5 years working in the Human Rights Commission. Because as a High Court judge, you have to deal only on paper. There is no contact of human beings directly. But in Human Rights Commissions, it is a direct interaction between the complainant or the victim and the commission, where you learn many different aspects of human life also. So this is one of the greatest institutions created under the Act, and it is still more to be done in this regard. No doubt, the commissions have been established, but ultimately, it is for every citizen, every one of us, to protect not only our human rights, but also human rights of others. Unfortunately, again, we are violating human rights every day due to political, religious, social norms, etc. Morality and moral values, unfortunately, are going down. They are going down again. And though we call ourselves human being as a social animal, that social aspect is going out. Only animal aspect is remaining. So it is for the younger generations to look into this. Now it is, our days are gone. It is for you people to not only look into this aspect, protect not only your rights. Every time something is wrong, you say, this is my right. I have to do this, I will not do that. Now start looking into protecting the human rights around you, even your neighbors, in your village or even in your lane. If there is a violation, now I have explained it to you. You can write directly to the commission and take action. Need not be worried about what action to be taken. This is how the awakening in the younger generation has to take place. Now, only 2 quotes. One is by Ronald Dworkin, an American eminent jurist and philosopher. He says, moral values are required to be protected and preserved for the betterment of the society. Now, the great Nelson Mandela has once said, to deny people of their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. It is here the younger generation has to take lead now to protect the human rights of everybody. Even Mahatma Gandhi has said, the greatness of humanity is not being human alone, but being humane. It's a difference. Now I remember here, to conclude, a great poem of Dr. Siddhaya Puranik. Many of us might have heard, Kannada learning people. There are 4 lines. I will quote it in Kannada and then I will translate it to others. ಓದಿ ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣನಾಗು, ಕಾದು ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯನಾಗು, ಶೂದ್ರ ವೈಶ್ಯನೇ ಆಗು, ದುಡಿದು ಗಳಿಸಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗು, ನೀ ಬಯಸಿದಂತಾಗು, ಏನಾದರೂ ಸರಿಯೇ, ಮೊದಲು ಮಾನವನಾಗು. This is translated. According to the poet, the caste system, you know, 4 chaturvarnas were there earlier in Vedic times, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now they are by birth. Now according to the poet, these are the nomenclatures of the profession you are carrying out. So when a young man goes to the poet and says, what should I become in my life? The poet says, acquire knowledge and you can become Pandit. Protecting the evil of the society, you can be a Kshatriya. Doing business, you can be a Vaishya. And by doing hard labor, you can be a Shudra. But young man, be whatever you want, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. But first of all, be a human being. This is the message for the younger generation. Be human beings, as Mahatma Gandhi said. To conclude, I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to address you all. Thank you very much. God bless you. It is my pleasure to be part of this very important seminar organized by School of Legal Studies, CMR University, under the leadership of Professor Subramanya, the Dean of SYLS and the Director SYLS and coordinators. Justice Banurmat sir is highly respected person in the legal community and is known for upholding law and justice, and is also a reformer, right? Reformer of legal system, right? He holds responsibilities of studying current scenario in the legal system and recommended many aspects of legal system to enhance efficiency and effectiveness of legal framework. So we are fortunate to have such a eminent person among us in this seminar. We are very grateful to you, sir. And we have another expert here, Anil Warrior. You are going to listen to him, right? And also I am delighted to see that our Sir, Dean Subramaniam sir has planned diversified resource persons. So it is going to be strength of human rights seminar. Whatever effort we put, whatever kind of time we spend, and whatever kind of involvement is there, there has to be a purpose. The purpose is to enhance quality of common people that will derive a lot of satisfaction, happiness to us. So with these few words, I thank School of Legal Studies for giving me an opportunity to come over here and meet you and interact with you. Thank you, one and all.
I would now like to invite our beloved Professor Dr. Vijay Praneshwaran sir, Director of CMR University, School of Legal Studies, to propose the vote of thanks.
Dignitaries on the dais, participants, teachers, and my dear students. Before we get into this formality of expressing our gratitude, maybe a couple of note about our Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice S.R. Banumat. I personally have had the privilege of appearing before His Lordship when he was the Judge of the High Court. I'm still impressed by his impeccable English, his style and elegance. Even today I was watching the way Justice Banurmat carries himself. He has a peculiar way of, especially sitting posture, even in his courts. When I was practicing as a young advocate, after finishing the first round, when we were free, and my senior used to say, after you should come back to court, come back to office. I used to escape, run, and sit into Justice Banurmat's court just to watch and admire him. And not to speak of His Lordship's contribution to the innumerable landmark judgments and his contribution to the field of law. There's another one instance in 2009. As Chief Justice of the Kerala High Court, Justice Banurmat led his entire team of 33 puisne judges to declare their assets for the first time in India. That's a huge contribution. This speaks of our guest today. On that note, sir, we are extremely thankful and express our gratitude to you for having accepted our invitation and having delivered the inaugural address on this National Seminar on Human Rights. I request our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Sir and Dean Sir to kindly felicitate the guest. We are also extremely thankful to Professor Dr. Anil G. Warrier, Registrar and Justice M.L. Pense Chair Professor, Maharashtra National Law University, for his august presence. You will hear him in the next session. Thank you very much, sir. I request our Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, and Dean, sir, to kindly felicitate Professor Anil Warrier. We are also thankful to our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. N.V. Subbareddy, for having presided over this event and taking two very specific things that Sir said. One, continue your research, don't stop at this seminar, develop an idea, continue your research, publish your articles, that is one thing. Secondly, practically how you can contribute to fostering better human rights. So bridge that gap, be an instrument in bridging the gap, in bringing human rights to its natural and required presence in the society. Thank you very much, sir, for having encouraged us. We are also extremely thankful to our beloved Dean, Professor T.R. Subramania. We have had these kinds of innumerable events and a lot of legal luminaries who have been visiting our institute. Like Pro Vice Chancellor said, almost every day we have someone at the school, either a guest lecture or an event, and that is the kind of reach and the repository of his contacts that Sir has, and that is being reaped by all of us. Thank you very much, sir. We are also extremely thankful to the organizers, the coordinators who have been relentlessly working. Of course, this is just the end of the beginning. You still have an entire day to go. You have 3-4 sessions to. I'm also thankful to the participants for having registered and will be presenting the papers. Dear students, thank you. And the inaugural session is coming to an end. Thank you, everybody.